Hi, I'm Andy Savage. Welcome to One Man and His Meeple. Today we're going to be playing Undaunted Normandy by David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin. In Undaunted Normandy, you play as either the US or the German army fighting over a small area of French land. You typically win by pinning all your opponent's forces or controlling a set amount of objectives on the map. During your turn, you use cards in your hand to scout new areas, move units around, fight the enemy, recruit new units, or stack the odds by clearing or creating fog of war. You begin with a slim starting deck, and you can bolster that deck by adding cards, and if your troops are killed, then a card is removed. Fog of war is added when you scout new areas, and removed when you recon. This video will be slightly different from the others that I've made because there's no officially published solo mode. So today we're going to be taking a look at one scenario from the campaign using one method of solo play, and that's two-handed, where I'll be playing both sides and making all the decisions and using dice to decide initiative. And then we're going to be playing a scenario using a fan-made Solitaire AI written by Dylan Crane, which he published on Boardgame Geek. This is his latest version, 1.2, which was published this month. So first up will be the two-handed method, and I'm going to play the US troops in scenario 1 from the campaign, La Ray. So this is the assault to the Vire-et-Tault Canal. It was in La Ray on the 15th of June 1944. The 30th Infantry Division's first action was on the morning of 15th of June, while over half the division was still afloat or moving through the assembly areas on Omaha Beach. An initial attack was made by an improvised combat team. Difficult opposition was encountered as soon as the leading squads crept past the railway track leading east from Carentan. By mid-afternoon, the US forces had worked their way through intermittent artillery fire and swung to the southeast to threaten German forces grouped around houses in the hamlet of La Ray. So in this game, the US forces all start in this square, and the German forces all start in this square, and the objective is to control 5 points worth of spaces. So the Germans already control 3 points at the start of the game, so they only have to capture 2 more points worth, and you can see on these little flags different points values. So there's 2s and some 1s, and only the German position has a 3. Both sides have already scouted an additional square. The Germans have scouted out to here, and the US have scouted out to here. So there's an obvious and easy win if the Germans can come and scout this square, but obviously the problem with that is they're right adjacent to the US encampment there. So they might come under heavy fire if they come too close to the riflemen in the US position there. And for the US side to capture 5, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 adjacent to their initial position, which is pretty good. And then obviously there's one down here, but this one up here on its own is quite isolated from the rest of the position and a bit closer to the German camp. These shield values are like the natural cover of the area, so this one still has pretty good cover. Once you capture an area, it can always be captured back again, so you either have to defend that position or keep coming back and recapturing it. And you can't capture an area if one of these units is on there. So if we've got scouts on there, then the Germans can't come up and capture that position until they've removed all the scouts from the deck and from the sideboard, or whatever you want to call this here. So at the start of this game, the US have initiative, and you start off with this deck of 9 cards, which comprises of riflemen, 2 squad leaders, a platoon sergeant, 2 fog of war cards, and 2 scout cards. and the German side's exactly the same for this scenario. So we deal 4 cards per hand, and the way I'm going to play the two-handed mode is I'm going to roll dice for initiative, and then the player with a higher initiative, or the hand with the higher initiative, has to play one of its 2 highest cards to consolidate that initiative, and the hand with the lower initiative has to play one of its 2 lowest cards. In the standard 2-player game, you deal a hand of 4 and then you play a card to decide the initiative, and you can see it's based on the force strength of the card. So Fog of War being the lowest initiative, and the platoon sergeant being the highest. In this game, high initiative goes first. Now, even though I said the US starts with initiative, they still have to win initiative. This counter just resides with the side that had the initiative in the last round and is the decider in the event of a draw. So let's roll dice. This one for the US side and this one for the German side. They crossed over, but that was the US, that was the Germans. So the Germans got the highest initiative. So they're going to look at their hand, 4 cards, and they're going to have to play one of their 2 highest cards. They've got 2 Fog of War cards and 2 Scout cards, so it doesn't really matter which we play. So we'll play that to the discard pile for the initiative. And we can move the Scouts A. Now the two Fog of War cards are useless. They actually reside in our hand. The Scouts they have a Scout action, which means they move 2 spaces, or they wouldn't go that way, but they can move 2 spaces. And any square they go through, they place a Scout token and add a Fog of War card to the discard pile. They can attack, which just means shooting at the enemy. They can recon, which is to remove a Fog of War card in your hand from the game. And they can conceal, which means you add a Fog of War card from the opponent's deck into their discard pile, so that when they shuffle, they will have more Fog of War cards being drawn. I think we're going to, so we've got 3 here for the Germans, and we really only needed 2. Now we can either go into this one that's right next to the US position, or we can head down here towards this lower corner, which is furthest from the US position. So I'm going to favour that. So we're going to move the Scouts 1, 2. Now they move through this square, which is already scouted. So we don't add a Fog of War for that one, but we put a new Scout token out on there, and we're going to add a Fog of War to the discard pile. So we could have used that Scout to remove one of these Fog of War cards from the game. We've only got 2 to start with, and we're going to add a lot more as we see. So I don't really see the point of that. Yet we'll get an early start down here. Now the Scouts can't capture a position on their own. We need the Riflemen to come in and capture the position. There are no units in this. This is the first scenario in the game. There are no units that are not currently on the board. All the units in the sideboard are already deployed. All the types of units that are here in the sideboard are already deployed. So later on in the other scenario, we're going to have machine gunners out here that are not deployed at the start of the game, and we're going to have to play cards from the squad leader to deploy those machine gunners if we want to use them. So let's have a look at the US hand. They've got the luxury of discarding their lowest card, which is going to be this Fog of War. So we'll discard that Fog of War card down there. And we've got, I'm both sides. I have a squad leader who can bolster, which means recruit from here into the discard pile, or they can inspire. So if the Rifleman's gone, he's had his action, we can play the squad leader to inspire him, which pretty much just returns him to our hands so we can play him again. And we have the platoon sergeant who can bolster 3 cards from here into our deck, or he can command, which is to draw 2 more cards. And I think I'm going to start by playing that command. So we draw another squad leader and another rifleman. So we've got squad leader B and squad leader A and rifleman B and rifleman A. Now the squad leaders can only bolster or inspire units with their letter on. So a squad leader A can bolster Scout A or Rifleman A, and he can inspire Scout A and Rifleman A, and likewise squad leader B can do the same with the Bs. So where do we want to go to? We've got no scouts here, so the riflemen can't move. They can only move, well, the rifleman can move onto a scouted tile. So we can move rifleman A out to there, ready to capture them, and maybe let's play the squad leader A to inspire him, return him to our hand, and then we're going to play rifleman A again for the control action, which means we flip that to the controlled side. So the US side now control 1 point of territory and the Germans control 3. The rifleman B, I think we're going to try and shoot at these scouts. So we have an attack 1 on this card, which means we're going to roll 1 dice to attack. And the scout's defense is their natural defense that's on the tile here, which is a 5. And you add the terrain defense, which on this tile is 0, and then you add the range, not including the tile that the riflemen are on. So that's 1, 2 range. So 2 plus 5 plus 0 is 7. And we just have to roll 7 or more on the dice in order to hit the scouts. And a 0 is an automatic hit. So let's roll 0, automatic hit. Now, that means the procedure, that means we're going to remove a Scouts A card from the German side. The order to remove cards is from the player's hand, where the German player has no hand, or from the discard pile, and then from the sideboard or the bolster deck, the cards that are not in. So the German player has no hand, but he has got Scouts A here. So this scout is now dead. We've killed Alfred Hoffman. So he's out of the game. We have, the Germans have 2 Scout A's remaining, but they're no longer in the deck. So this tile here is not going to be able to do anything until the German player bolsters some of these Scout A cards into their deck. And we've got squad leader, so let's inspire Rifleman B and let's take that shot again. Now this time, if we hit Scouts A, we're going to remove one of these cards that's not even in the deck yet. And then you can keep doing that, and if at any point, there are no more cards of that type to remove, then the tile is removed, the counter is removed from the game. So I got it a little bit wrong earlier. You search your hand, then you search your discard, then you search your deck, and then you search these cards up here. So again, 7 to hit, and it's another 0, another hit. So there, we know there's none in there. There are none in the deck, but we'll have a look anyway. We'll shuffle that, and then we're going to remove Karl Hoffman. It looks like we've got both the Hoffman brothers, Karl and Alfred. We removed them. They're both died in the fields of Normandy. So then all those cards have been played. They go to the discard pile of the US troops. So that's the first round done. Germans got some scouts out here, but suffered heavy losses. They only have one scout A left in the entire game. And the US moved their riflemen out here and got a couple of good shots. Rifleman B is a crack shot, obviously. That was Darren Green. Okay, on to the second round. Now, the Germans got the initiative in that round, so they take this disc. They should have had it after we rolled the dice, so let's do that again. 10 each, so the Germans retain initiative. Let's draw their cards. They have 4 cards there. So you just go through the deck until you need till you haven't got enough to draw, and then you reshuffle the discard pile and continue to draw. Yes, so we're looking at those, and we have to discard either one of the 7s or the 9s. So that's two squad leaders or the platoon sergeant. The platoon sergeant would allow us to draw 2 more cards or bolster in, and we can bolster. We need to bolster that scout A. So we need the squad leader to bolster the scout A. So let's play the squad leader B as our initiative, and let's use squad leader A to bolster our final scout A and also rifleman A. There's not a lot of choice there. And the platoon sergeant, I think what we're going to do is command, so that is to draw cards. So we're going to draw rifleman A, and then we shuffle the discard pile, as I was just saying. And this is a draw to there, so it's a fog of war card. Rather hoping to draw that scout card that we just bolstered, and then we could have moved him down to there, but no luck. So we need to move some riflemen out to follow those scouts. So our choice is either rifleman A or rifleman B. Doesn't make a lot of difference, except we know squad leader B is still in here. So let's just favour that slightly and move rifleman B. So the riflemen only have a move of 1. Rifleman A, I suppose it wouldn't hurt. I mean, ideally we could send scouts up to here and the riflemen to follow them, and then we could defend this point and stop the US getting that as well. But unfortunately, we don't have the scouts draw, and the riflemen are a bit far away to shoot anyone over here. We've got even the easiest shot is 7, 8, 9. I guess that's a 1 in 5 chance of hitting rifleman B. So the lack of anything else to do, the riflemen are going to take a shot up here at rifleman B. So 4, 7, 4 on their own, 3 for the terrain, and then 2 for the range. So a 9 or a 10 is going to hit them, and that's an 8. Just whistles by their ear and they duck out the way. And the fog of war card is wasted. So over to the US, who didn't draw. So there's their 3 cards from their deck, and so they have to discard one of their lowest 2 cards. So that's quite easily decided. It's the fog of war is gone. So we have 2 scouts and a platoon sergeant. Be nice to get some riflemen on the move. So let's send some. Let's try and send scouts. We're going to send scouts up here and scouts to here, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be the easy one, or the closest ones anyway. So let's start off. Let's send scouts A up to there, and put a scouted token up there and a fog of war card into the discard. And scouts B, we're going to send. We send them down there, 1, 2. So we're going to be stuffing our deck with fog of war cards, but we can use the scouts to remove those fog of war cards later. There is a way also to remove cards from your to remove the the actual soldiers from your deck later on. If say a squad leader becomes fairly useless because there's no more cards to bolster, you could you can hunker down, which means you just remove him from the deck. If it's a scout or a rifleman, you can then get him back in. But if you remove, for example, the squad leader, you won't be able to get him back in except with the platoon sergeant. Talking of, we have the platoon sergeant. Let's use him to draw 2 more cards using the command action. And here we've got Rifleman B and Fog of War. Rifleman B can either move up to here, or they could take another shot at Scouts A. If we got all the Scouts out of the deck, then that would be quite something. That would be quite a blow to the German side, because their riflemen wouldn't be able to move any further than the positions that have been scouted. So let's have Rifleman B take another shot at these scouts. So again, it's 5, 6, 7. 7 or more to hit. And roll that there. It's an wow. This Darren Green is an amazing shot. So Scouts A removed from this card first, and then the deck. So that's all 3 Scouts A removed now. So this counter's not removed yet, not until we get another shot on them, but we know, and it's open information, I think, what's been removed from the game. So we know that the Germans are not going to be moving this scout anymore, which is great for the US. Not good news for the Germans. So that was round 2. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's draw hands for both these sides, and then roll for initiative. Okay, so US initiative is 9 and the German initiative is 1. So the US are taking initiative and have to discard one of their squad leaders. Now, we've got squad leader A and B, and we've got rifleman A and scout B. So who's going to be most useful to move twice in this game, in this round? Probably not the scouts, but the riflemen can move and then capture, move and then control. So let's get rid of squad leader B, because we're not going to want to use scouts B twice. And let's move scout B down to there. So there's another scout icon and another fog of war. Scout B played. Rifleman A, we're going to move him down to there. And then we're going to use the squad leader to inspire him to control that point. So now the US side have control 2, but scouted 2, 4, 6, 7 points worth. So now the US side have a good choice of what areas they can control. The German side have to discard their lowest card, or one of their 2 lowest cards. Obviously the fog of war is going to go. I mean, I guess you might want to discard the rifleman, keep the fog of war, and then use the scout to recon it out of your hand. But I think the Germans are falling behind now, so going to need to use everything they got. Scout B, I think, is going to have to follow Scout A down to here, or maybe Scout B can come to here. As it's closer now, they can get there in one go, rather than just fall under the fire of Rifleman B. So let's do that. Scouts B, so we can go that way and then up into there, which means we only have to play 1 fog of war card because they'd already scouted that square. Rifleman A, then I think are also going to move that way. I don't think we have to worry particularly about the US Army coming over and capturing this position. It's not going to be a priority for them. And then squad leader B, we can either inspire this Scouts B, who could take a shot at riflemen, probably the rifleman there or the rifleman there. Or we can use him to add a fog of war to the US hand, which might be a useful thing to do at this point. So we're going to inspire these scouts and then use the conceal action to add a fog of war to the US side. Okay, so that's that round. The US had initiative. What? Four cards for the Germans. Roll. Okay, US initiative is 1 and the German initiative is 5. So the Germans are going first this round. And they're going to have to discard either their rifleman B or their platoon sergeant. Where's rifleman B? Rifleman B is here. So we could use them to move on to there. Or we could use the platoon sergeant to draw some more cards from the deck with the bolster command. We've probably got more mileage if we discard the rifleman for the initiative and then draw 2 more cards. Not much more. Rifleman A instead of Rifleman B. So we can send the Rifleman A either to here, which is the 2-point square, or there's no point in coming there. So we might as well send the Rifleman into there. So shame we couldn't inspire him. If we had squad leader A, we could have captured the Germans could capture that square, and that would be the end of it. That would be 5 points of control. So the US guys, they're going to have to concentrate fire on Rifleman A, I think. Keep them under fire, hopefully get them out, or move into that square so that it can't be captured. So let's see what we have here. Okay, let's discard the fog of war for initiative. We've got Scout A and Platoon Sergeant. Scouts A are in a position where they can move into here and prevent the Germans from capturing that tile. So they've done that. No fog of war to add because they went back through a trail that had already been scouted. Then I think with the platoon sergeant, let's bolster a whole bunch of scouts into our deck. So that's 2, and let's get some more Rifleman B in, so we can concentrate fire on these riflemen here. Okay, so that's the US turn. Next round, 1, 2, 3, 4 cards for the Germans and 4 cards for the US. Right, initiative. For the Germans, it's 5, and for the US, it's 5. So the Germans retain initiative on this round and have to discard one of their squad leaders. I think squad leader B is going to have to go, and then we can use Rifleman A to attack. Although actually, up close, in general, actually, both the Scouts and Riflemen are equally able to attack. So Scouts B are going to attack Scouts A because the Germans need to clear these Scouts out of this square before they can capture it. So the Scouts have 5, 6 defense, so we need 6 or more to hit them, and that's a 10. We're removing Scouts A from our discard, and that's Joseph Bell, the first casualty for the US side. I'm going to put that up there. And then Rifleman A are going to take a shot. Again, it's 6 or more, and that's a hit. So more Scouts A. There goes Grant Williams, who I think has only just entered the war, unfortunately for him. And then Hans Mayer is going to inspire Rifleman Ernst Fiedel or Seidel to fire again. And that's a miss. So the US retaliation. Oh dear, 3 fog of war and 1 Rifleman B. Now, it's all very well just sitting here taking pot shots at each other, but that's going to make for a very long, slow game. Is there going to be a way? Rifleman B could move out to here, capture that. That will give us 3. Rifleman, I think we need to leave Scouts A here to hold this position, prevent the Germans from capturing that and winning the game. And I think Rifleman B now has to get a move on and try and capture that position up there, control that position up there. Okay, so a new hand of 4 cards for the Germans. 2, 3, 4, and likewise for the US. Hopefully fewer fog of war cards this turn. All right, US initiative is a 9, and German initiative is 7. Oh dear, 4 fog of war cards for the US side. That's why the conceal action is so powerful. And also excessive scouting is to your disadvantage. So the US turn is completely negated, complete fog of war. Germans can discard that fog of war, and they have exactly the right cards to continue firing on scouts here. So the Rifleman going first, again 6 or more, that's a miss, and the Scouts 7, so that's a hit. So we're looking for Scouts A, we know there aren't any there. There's Scouts A, so that's our 3 Scouts, I think. That's all the Scouts. So they need they actually need another hit before that token is removed from the game. It's when you search and can't find one that that the token is actually removed from the board. So that was the German go. The next hand. US initiative is 9, German initiative is 10. The Germans are going first this time. They've got a hand with, oh, there is a fog of war. So we have to discard a Rifleman or a squad leader. Where's Rifleman B? Oh, he's down here. He's done nothing much, really. Let's discard Rifleman B, and then we can use Rifleman A and the squad leader to inspire them. Continue shooting scouts. So that's a miss. So we'll play the squad leader to inspire them, and let's take another shot at those scouts, and that's a miss. And the fog of war. The US discard their fog of war for initiative, and what have we got here? 2 squad leaders and a Rifleman. That's good. The Rifleman can come down here, Rifleman A this is, and move. And then squad leader A can inspire him, and he can go again and control. So the US now have 2, 3, 4 points of control. And all they need to do is get Rifleman B to control that square there, and that's the game. But unfortunately, this is a squad leader and not a Rifleman. So what we're going to do is bolster 2 more Rifleman B cards into the deck. So we're loading the deck with Rifleman B so we can hopefully draw one and capture that space. Okay, So draw new hands. And then roll for initiative. US 8, Germany 2. So US must discard either this scout or this platoon sergeant. I think we're going to discard scout B. And rifleman B are going to control this for the win. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of control. And we don't even need the platoon sergeant. So the US won that side. And the Germans were actually quite close to winning as well. The scouts were all gone. They just needed one more hit. If they drew or did they draw a deck? Did they draw scouts? No, they didn't draw scouts B or rifleman A. Well, they had the platoon sergeants. Let's have a look. Scouts B. No, still couldn't have finished that. But it's quite well balanced, that first scenario, and quite simple. You've only got 3 or 4 different types of units, and they're all already in the deck at the start of the game. There's a couple of different places, a couple of different ways it can play out. The main thing I'm going to concentrate here is that playing two-handed, although it's a little bit more open than playing against an actual opponent, there's not a whole lot of hidden information, so you don't have to pretend there's something you don't know. I seem to recall you're not allowed to look through the opponent's pile of dead cards, so unless you're keeping track of how many Scout A, Scout B, Rifleman, etc. that you've shot, you can't know that, unless you've remembered it, you're not allowed to go and look through the pile of dead cards and see who you've killed. So there's a little bit of memory there, but that's not affected in the solo game. You don't look at both in the way I've played this, where you roll for initiative and then the highest hand discards one of its 2 highest cards. You don't look at the other player's hand before you play the first player. It's all the information that needs to be hidden remains hidden, I think, and it works quite well. If you don't particularly favour each side and you just play it fairly, and it goes through fairly quickly. I don't know how long that was. It was certainly less than an hour for that one scenario, which is about the same as the 2-player game. It's pretty much exactly the same. So the next thing to do is to look at, we're going to look at Dylan's AI, which is, let's get that up on the screen here. It's just a 3-page PDF, and most of it is on the first 2 pages, and there's a little bit of reference on the last page. But basically, you just in the order of playing the cards in your hand. So you roll a d10 for initiative, and you as the human player have to discard a card, and the AI will play with all 4 of its cards, so the AI doesn't discard a card. And so it has an advantage there, but you know what the AI's initiative is, so you can decide when you play your card whether you're going to beat it or not. And then you go through the AI hand in order, playing the sergeant and the guide. So and then the scout. So let's have a look at the scout. Do you have you just follow, it's like a flow chart sort of thing. Do you have a fog of war in your hand? If you do, then you're going to follow case A, and have you scouted enough objective tiles to win? If you have, then your dice roll modifier is +4, and if you haven't, then it's -3. And then you come down here, you roll the dice, add the dice roll modifier, and if it's 1 to 4, you're going to scout. If it's 5 to 8, you're going to attack, if it's case A. And if it's 9 to 10, you're going to recon. If you don't have a fog of war in the AI hand, then you're going to conceal instead of reconning on a 9 or 10 with the modifier added. So they're all like that. And as you come down to the bottom, you have the movement priority, move towards the tile with the highest VPs, and what order the AI will target units. The riflemen here, they will, if they can control, then to control to win, then they will. Otherwise, if they're on a tile with a target mover, they'll be loaded towards moving. If they can control an objective tile, they'll be loaded towards controlling. Otherwise, they're going to move towards an uncontrolled objective tile. And then if they don't do any of that, then their move is going to be, their action is going to be weighted towards shooting at the enemy. So it's all fairly simple, and you start to remember as you play through, start to remember what's what, like the order for the targeting and things like that, and where they're going to move to. And it says here, if there's a card with no useful actions, then they will hunker down, which means they will move from the game. So let's get set up, and for that, I'm going to play scenario 3, which is a raid across the canal, and this one we have to connect 6 objective points on either side. So I'm going to get set up. Of that one, I'm going to play as the German side, I think, and put the AI controlling the US. Okay, so here we're set up for scenario 3, which is a raid across the canal. I can see the canal here. Again, we've got symmetrical sides. Both the Germans and the US have the same starting decks and the same units ready to deploy. So they've got a scout of each A and B, a rifleman of A and B, the squad leaders, and the platoon sergeant in there, 2 fog of wars, so 9 cards to start with. This time, the Germans have the same. This time, both sides have got machine gunners who are not starting on the board. So their counters are not on the board. They're there on their deck, on their little pile, waiting to be deployed. And that will have to be deployed with the bolster command from the squad leaders or the platoon sergeant. And it wasn't relevant in the first scenario, but this one you can see the all token there, and here on the German position, that is where all units are deployed when they're bolstered. When they're bolstered. So if we bolster 2 machine gunners, we put the cards into the deck, and then we put the token out where it says all. Now these aren't decided by platoon types, they're decided by their letters. On the back there's a B, and there's an A, B, and C, and so on. So I guess in some scenarios you have the A's deploying over here and the B's deploying over here. Again, this is a scenario where you have to capture a certain amount of control points. You have to control a certain amount of points on the map, and this time it's 6 each. The US side start with 2. They have an easy 2 here, and then they have to decide whether they're going to go out, capture the west side of the canal maybe, or whether they're going to come out here across this farmland and capture this 2 out there. Germans don't start with any control points, but they have this 3 over here on their side, far away from the US deployed zone. So there's a 3, 4, 5, 6. So if the Germans control the entire canal, then they've won. So I guess that's really what this scenario is trying to simulate, is that the Germans are holding the canal, stopping the US from crossing. Let's just read the little introduction. Assault to the Vierertote Canal. Vierertote Canal, 16th of June, 1944. On the 16th of June, the 30th Infantry Division finished clearing the area north of the Vierertote Canal, and that night they dug in along the gentle slope leading down to the bare and watery no man's land along the canal. The Germans mounted a counterattack that evening, making a raid across the canal, and it was driven back by massed infantry fire. Again, like I said, 6 control points, and the starting initiative is with Germany. Now this time we are playing Germans, and the US side is going to be run with Dylan's AI. There's going to be a fair amount of rustling and looking up as I go through this sheet here. If there's anything interesting, I might put it up on the screen to look at. But otherwise, we'll probably just get on and do it from here. So we start off by rolling an initiative. Well, we draw the cards. So 4 cards for the US. I've shuffled these. And 4 cards for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we roll for initiative for the US side. So that's 4. So I look at my cards and decide this time differently. This is more like the 2-player game. I can decide whether what I want to play. I can play the 1 and definitely, well, almost certainly go second, or I can play a higher one. My advantage this time is I know that the US are going to play are effectively playing a initiative of 4. I think I'm going to let them have it and just play with. I'm going to discard the Fog of War and just play with these 3 cards. So my initiative is 1. So I'm ducking out the initiative and letting the US go first. Now, instead of discarding a card, in Dylan's AI, they play with all 4 cards. Luckily for me, 2 of these are Fog of War. So they have 2 riflemen, which means the actions are going to be the same. And let's just run through, I'll do this on screen, run through the first couple on screen so you can see what I'm actually talking about. Okay, so riflemen. So the US riflemen are both up here in the top left-hand corner. Would they win if they took a control action? No. Is it on a tile with a target marker? We don't even use target markers in this scenario. I think they're for the mortar gunners, and we haven't got any mortars. So no, perform 3. May it control an objective tile? No, both the riflemen are already on. Both the riflemen are already on a controlled tile up here. So next, may it move into an uncontrolled objective tile, or is it in the spawn tile? Yes, it's in the spawn tile. So we're going to add a dice roll modifier of -3 and roll. So let's do that on screen. -3 to our dice roll, and that's a 6. 6 minus 3 gives us 3, so they will move. And where are they going to move to? Well, the riflemen can't move, or they can move because there's a scouting position. But the priority for movement is to move towards the tile with the highest victory points. When moving scouts, well, we're not, but if possible, build the path using already scouted tiles to avoid fog of war. That's common sense. So both our riflemen are going to move onto this tile here because it's the only scouted position. I guess they're making a move towards there. Now, it's, that's not an ideal move, but we're testing the AI here, so let's do what it says. Just going to have a look, because some of these Dylan has said if this is a useless action, then do something else. But I don't think there's no exception on this. Although there is designer advice based on the scenario, it would make sense to move the scouts towards 2 different objective tiles. This may happen when both scouts start from the same tile. So, I mean, Dylan has granted us a degree of common sense, but there's nowhere else for the riflemen to actually go at this point. And they might get a decent shot. Actually, what we need to do, I've done that a little bit wrong, is because what we should have done is roll again for Rifleman B. So Rifleman A move on to there, Rifleman B are going to roll again with the dice roll modifier of -3, gives us a 0, which is still going to be a move action. So they'll move on to there as well. But yeah, for each card we actually roll the dice and apply the dice roll modifier, check the dice roll modifier and then roll it. So Argo, as the Germans, I think we need to, what have we got here? Squad leader, and rifleman. That's useful. Maybe I should have looked at those. Let's use squad leader A to bolster. Let's chuck in another scout A, because we're going to need to do a bit of scouting, and rifleman A. Actually, what have we got? 1 scout and 1 rifleman. Let's have 2 of each, that's right. Squad leader B, again, I mean, we can use him to inspire the rifleman, but all the rifleman's going to be doing is taking this shot across miles of countryside at a 6, 7, 8, 9, or a 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess let's fire off some shots. We're going to hit. Let's aim at. I like to take the scouts out because there are fewer scouts in the game, and also if you can pin the scouts or prevent them moving, then the riflemen have nowhere to go, as we've seen at the start here. So let's go for the scouts on a 5, 6, 7, 8. So an 8, so it's actually a better shot as well. 8 or more will hit scouts, and we'll aim at scouts A. It makes no difference. So we hit rifleman B hits scouts A. So let's remove scouts A. Now that immediately means that the US are going to have to bolster. That's goodbye Joseph Bell. It immediately means that the US are going to have to bolster in to get some more scouts. Now the squad leader inspires rifleman Herman Ziegler, who's going to take another shot at scouts A. No, let's go for scouts B this time. Move that. And that's a miss. Would have been nice to get both the scouts out the deck at the start. Okay. So yeah, that's the end of our go as the Germans. And we draw, so the US had the initiative on that one. We switched initiative. So 4 cards left in the deck for the US, which they draw. And 1, 2, 3, 4 for us. And we roll for the US initiative, and that's a 4. So we can look at our hand and decide if we want to go beat a 4. Again, scout. I'm happy to just play the Fog of War card for my initiative and let the US go first. So what have they got? 2 squad leaders and platoon sergeants. So the sergeant goes first, and then the scout goes, and then the squad leaders go. So the platoon sergeant says, if there are no cards left to bolster, then use the command. Otherwise, perform 2. Let's get this up so you can. I do this for all of them, but just the first couple. Right. Okay. So if there's no cards left to bolster, which there are, use the command. Otherwise, is it possible to use bolster to add a counter, or have not done bolster yet? So yes, that we can add a counter because the machine gunners. So we're going to have a dice roll modifier of -2, and on a 1 to 6 they're going to bolster, and he will go for the machine gunners, and otherwise he's going to command, which is just a draw. So when bolstering, he's going to take cards from the pile with a unit counter on it, pick up the ones. So again, Dylan's given us some agency here, pick up the ones which make more sense for the current scenario. Otherwise, he's going to take from the pile with most cards left, and he takes all from one pile if possible, and then he goes A and then B in that order. Okay, so that was a dice roll modifier of -2, and we're going to bolster on a 1 to 6. So that's a 4, well, a 6 minus 2 is 4. We're going to bolster, and we're going to take machine gunners and put 3 of them. He's going to put all 3 machine gunners in. We can see the machine gunners have an action that we haven't seen earlier, which is suppress. Their attack is 2, so they roll 2 dice to attack, and they roll 4 dice to suppress. And if you hit on a suppress, then you flip the token over and onto its shaded side, and those guys are pinned, and they can't do anything, and they spend their entire action. You play the card and just flip them back to the normal side. So we're adding, the US are adding all their machine gunners into the deck. So next up is the Scout B. And the Scout, have they scouted enough objective tiles to win? No, so the dice roll modifier is -3. Hang on, Fog of War in the hand? No. So we're going for case B. And have they scouted enough objective tiles to win? Then no. DRM, the dice roll modifier is -3. So that's a 7 minus 3 is 4, and the Scouts on a 4 on either case are going to scout, not surprisingly. And they will scout towards the highest value tile. So let's just have a look. Move towards the tile with the highest victory points. When moving Scouts, if possible, build the far path using already scouted tiles. So the Scouts, I guess, are going to try and come down here and grab this bridge, the 3.1 there, but they're going to go through this tile here. Well, let's do what it says. It's not how I would play it, but that's the whole point of playing the AI. So 1, 2, the Scout's going down to there, placing that, and adding a Fog of War to the discard pile. And now all the machine gunners are in. I'm just going to move that rifleman up there so I don't confuse them with the discard pile. Okay, squad leaders. Another one we haven't seen yet, the AI. A squad leader. If the AI has 2 squad leaders in hand, play the one with the most cards left in the supply and do bolster. So we've got, it must be B because they've still got the machine gunners out. So we're going to play squad leader B to bolster 2 of these machine gunners. So we're loading the deck up with machine gunners. The Germans are going to have a hard time moving. They're going to get pinned down. And then squad leader A, they can't add a counter. So they are going, can they inspire to reactivate anyone? No. So they're probably just going to bolster some. They're just going to inspire, they're just going to bolster someone. And the bolster priorities are The pile with a unit counter on it? No. Otherwise, the pile with the most cards left. So we've got a whole bunch of 4 riflemen and 3 scouts. So he's going to bolster 2 riflemen. And then it's our go. Nearly skipped us. So we know their scouts are going to come down here and try and take this bridge. So maybe we should go out there and scout it early. We can get there in one go. Scout A, we'll move them out there. So we've scouted that tile and that tile. We're going to add 2 fog of war cards. And let's move Rifleman A along to cover them a little. Maybe we can start shooting those scouts as they come down. Nope, that was the wrong one. Rifleman A, going to use the move action. Scout B, let's move them out along the river, I think is the obvious thing. I think actually the obvious thing would be for the Scout A to go that way and that way. So 1, 2, Rifleman A go to there, and Scout B are going to go that way, and we're adding an awful lot of fog of war cards to our deck, but that's all the scouting we actually need to do now, because that's 3, 4, 5, 6. All the objective points we need are scouted. So we can use our scouts at this point to recon, which is to remove the fog of war cards from our hand. Okay, so next round. 2, 3, 4 cards for the US. And a dice roll for initiative. Let's do it there. That didn't even roll, but 7. And we get 1 card. Wouldn't mind betting we're going to get a whole load of fog of war cards here now. 2, 3, 4. So their initiative is 7. I think again, I think we're going to let them go first again because they've got that card. They've got that card advantage, and we can't afford to lose 2 actions by not discarding a fog of war. So yeah. So what have they got? They've got the platoon sergeant, then the scouts, the rifleman, and then the squad leader will go last. So the sergeant will the sergeant will, is it possible to bolster to add a counter, or we've not done a bolster yet? Then the answer is yes, because we haven't done a bolster yet. So the dice roll modifier is -2. I think I stuffed this a bit on the last round, but I don't think it matters. So dice roll, on a 1 to 6, we're going to bolster. So that's a 4. So the platoon sergeant is going to bolster, and he's going to take the pile with the most. He's going to take 3 riflemen Bs. Then Scout B. Is there a fog of war card? No. So we're going for case B. Have they scouted enough objective tiles to win? And the answer is no. So the dice roll modifier is -3. And that's a 0 or less. So they will scout. And he's going to move 2 positions towards our the bridge here that we want. This is Scout B, so he's going to go 1, 2, and he's going to scout that position and add 2 fog of war cards to their deck. Then the rifleman. Will he win if he controls Rifleman A? No. May it control an objective tile? Well, he can control, but it's not an objective tile. So, can he move into an uncontrolled objective tile? No. Is it in the spawn tile? No. Can he shoot at an enemy with a defense of 5 or less? So, our riflemen here, let's double check a bunch of these. So, the scouts are on 5, 6, 7. The riflemen are on 4, 5, 6. Riflemen down here are on 4, 5, 6, 7. And the scouts here are on 5, 6, 7, 8. So the riflemen here are nearly vulnerable, but the answer is no. So there is no dice roll modifier on this one. And that's a 3. The riflemen are going to move. So they're going to move down to there, following the scout. Then squad leader B. Squad leader B. I can't. Is it possible to use bolster to add a counter? No. Is it possible to use inspire to reactivate a machine gunner, blah, 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 rifleman or scout? The answer is yes. The dice roll modifier is +3, so that makes an 8. So we're he's going to inspire if we have not scouted enough objective tiles to win. Have they? 3, 4, 5, 6. So they haven't scouted enough. So he's going to inspire this scout, Scout B, who doesn't need to do any more scouting. So it'd be interesting to see what he does do now. There is no Fog of War card, so we're on case B. Have they scouted enough tiles to win? Yes, the answer is yes. So the dice roll modifier is 2. So that's 11. If D10 plus DRM is scout, perform the conceal instead. So we're on 11, which is a conceal. Let's have a look. The scout table is a little bit tricky. Okay, so there was no Fog of War, so we went for no. Set case B. Have they scouted enough objective tiles to win? Yes, so the dice roll modifier was 2 when we rolled a 9, which gives us case B on an 11. So conceal, which means that they add a Fog of War to our discard pile. And that's the US go finished, and then it's our go. We have Scout A and a Platoon Sergeant. Scout A are up here, haven't done nothing. So let's move Scout A. Scout, oh no, we're Germany this time, aren't we? Scout A are here, and they've done all their scouting, so we're going to recon this Fog of War card out of our hand. Oh no, look, we've got to move that back. So, we've scouted enough, 3, 4, 5, 6, we've scouted enough positions to actually win us the game. So we don't need to do any more scouting. We have a Fog of War card, so we're going to recon this Fog of War card out of our hand. So that's just removed from the game. Right, so there's some Fog of War cards here that you can't actually see because they're behind me. And then the Platoon Sergeant, so we can bolster. I think I want to bolster some machine gunners in and get them shooting these scouts or suppressing these riflemen. We're going to need to get these scouts off of here so we can control this point. So let's bolster in some machine gunners. Let's get all the A's in. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of machine gunners as well, although judging by the thickness of our deck here, it's going to be a while till we see anyone. Some of the guys sneaking off the edge of the table there. Right, next round. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards for the US and an initiative of 1. And for us, 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. And again, not too bad on the Fog of War. If we play the Fog of War as our initiative, then even though the US rolled 1, they'll retain initiative. Ah, look, we bolstered the wrong guys in. It would have been useful to bolster machine gunners A in this turn with this squad leader. Let's play the squad leader for the initiative, meaning we go first. Then we're going to use the scouts to recon that fog of war out, and then Rifleman A is going to shoot at Scouts B, which is a range of 1, so it's 5 plus 0 plus 1 is 6 to hit. And that's a hit. So Scouts B, this one straight on top of the discard pile is out, and that's William Richardson moved from the game. So that was short, but we got rid of some scouts and we got rid of fog of war, which is good. See what the US are going to do. So they have 2 riflemen and a squad leader. The rifleman, will he win if he controls? Let's go for A first. Will he win if he controls there? The answer is no. Can he control an objective tile? No, he can control this, but it's not an objective tile. Can he move into an uncontrolled objective tile? Yes. So the DRM is -3. And that's a 10. -3 is 7, which means he's going to make an attack. So Rifleman A is going to attack. What's the order for attacking? As a rifleman, he's going to target riflemen first, and there's one right next to him here on a 4-5, one for the range. So he's going to attack that, and he's going to hit my rifleman on a 5+. That's a 1, so he missed badly. Rifleman B, who's up here. Will he win if control? No. Can he control an objective tile? No. Can he move into an uncontrolled objective tile? No. Can he shoot at an enemy with defense of 5 or less? So here's a 4, 5, 6 again. So this is a 6. So again, he can't hit anyone with a defense of 5 or less. So there's no dice roll modifier, and he's going for a 10, which is control. Now it says re-roll if not applicable. I don't see the point of controlling this. It's just a waste. So I'm going to re-roll that. A 4. So that's a move. So he's going to come down here as well. Squad leader. Is it possible to bolster to add a counter? No. Is it possible to use Inspire to reactivate a machine gunner, sniper, mortar, rifleman, or a scout? Yes, the dice roll modifier is +3, and that's 5. +3 is 8, so he is going to Inspire on a 7+. So he's going to Inspire Rifleman A, who's going to go through this whole thing again. And decide that his dice roll modifier is -3 because he can move onto a tile that's an objective, and he's going to go 3 this time, which is a move. So Rifleman A is going to move into there as well. So I think that's going to stretch out this game quite significantly. So we went first that time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got the initiative 1, 2, 3, 4 in case of a draw. So the US have initiative of 4. And we have a bunch of fog of war. A Rifleman A who is here, and Scout. Rifleman A is here, and Scout A who is here. Excuse me. If we hit twice with a machine gunner, say, How many dice are successful does not matter. Okay, so you only ever hit one card. So which of these are we gonna? We're playing up against a 9, so we're not going to be able to go first anyway. So which of these do we want? I think we need to get some riflemen A in, so we're going to keep that squad leader A. Scout A, Scout B, both pretty. Scout B is definitely useless over there at the moment, so we'll play him for initiative. Let's see what the AI is doing here. Machine gunners, rifleman, squad leader. So I think they go in that order. Rifleman A. Will he win if he controls? No, he won't. Can he control an objective tile? No, because there's one of my counters on it. Can he move? He can, but I don't think we want him to in the spirit of the game. So can he shoot at this enemy? Yes, he can. He can shoot that rifleman with a 4. So he's going to try. Well, he's got a DRM of +1. That's a control action, and any control result is used to attack. So he's going to shoot rifleman A. With 1 dice, 3. That's a miss. Rifleman B, who are up here. Again, all the way through. Is he on a... Will he win if control? No. Is he on a tile with a target marker? No. Can he control an objective tile? No. Can he move into an uncontrolled objective tile? Or is it... can he move into an uncontrolled objective tile? Well, yes, he can. So the dice roll modifier is -3. That's a 5, which is actually attack. So he's going to attack either one of my riflemen. Let's see what the priority target is. Riflemen get the weakest. They're both the same. They're both on 4. Check if there is another target whose defense is 2 values lower. There won't be. So I guess tactically it's better for him to go for Rifleman A. So I'm just going to play that he's attacking Rifleman A on a 5 or more. That's a miss after all that. Machine Gunner A. Back to Machine Gunners. Is he on a tile with a target marker? No. Is there an unsuppressed enemy rifleman on an objective tile? There is. There's Rifleman B now down here. So the dice roll modifier is +3, and the target is that rifleman. So suppression fire on our rifleman on a 4, 5, 6 or more. So there's a hit. There's a hit. Our rifleman B are also suppressed now. And then the squad leader. Is it possible to bolster? No. Is it? Well, it is possible to bolster, but not to add the counter. Is it possible to use Inspire to reactivate machine gunners? Blah blah blah. Yes, it is. We have machine gunners A who are inspirable. So the dice roll modifier is +3. That's an 11. So he's going to inspire, and he's going to take the machine gunner. Fairly sure he's going to inspire the machine gunner first. Where is that? Inspire order. If you have not scouted enough objective tiles to win, scout rifleman, machine gunner, others. Otherwise, sniper, machine gunner. Have they scouted enough to win? Yes, I think they're 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, they have. So he's going to snipe. He's inspiring the machine gunners to have another go. So, is there an unsuppressed enemy rifleman? No, there is not. Is it possible to attack an enemy machine gunner, sniper, mortar who has total defense of 8 or less? 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. So the dice roll modifier is 3 plus 3. That's a 10, so that's suppression. Suppression on the machine gunners doesn't make sense because he's already suppressed. So let's roll to attack. And those are 2 misses. So that's the US go. And back to us. We played our initiative, that's why we've only got 3 cards. So we've got machine gunners who are suppressed. So let's unsuppress our machine gunners. Let's Scout A, shoot at Rifleman A, I think. So that's a 4-5. Scout A are attacking Rifleman A on a 5 or more. That's a miss. And we're going to have the squad leader inspire the machine gunners to attack Rifleman A over here on a 5 plus 2 dice. We're going to roll to kill because we want them off that tile. So Rifleman A. That's James Allen removed from the game. Now I can't remember who's in this removed pile, and I'm not going to look. There are 2 Rifleman A still in the supply there. That's our go finished. 2, 3, 4 cards for the US. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards for us. Okay, so the US initiative is 4. Our deck. Not great. We're playing Fog of War now. I'm thinking we need to change the direction here. We're just going to sit here, plugging away at each other. I think we're going to move Scouts B. We're going to aim to move Scouts B and Rifleman B up here. Capture this for 1, 2, 3, 4, and see if we can get Scouts A and Rifleman A up here for 6, and stop contesting these, which is risky. We need to get our other machine gunners out so that we can suppress these Scouts and Riflemen on these. But let's see what the AI is going to do. Right, so there's 2 machine gunners, a Rifleman and a Fog of War. So Rifleman A, I think, he's got a shooter, and now I think we're going all the way down there to shoot at an enemy with a defense of less than 5, being Rifleman A. So that's a 5. So that is he's going to shoot at our Rifleman. And that's a hit, so we're going to remove Rifleman A. First from our hand, there aren't any, and from our discard. I think we know there aren't any, but not Rifleman A. Shuffle that. So we remove this one from our supply. On Rad Sour. Off he goes. So that was Rifleman A, Machine Gunner B. There are no unsuppressed riflemen. Is it possible to attack a machine gunner? It certainly is, as he's done every go this so far. So 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. So the modifier on here is +3, so that's suppression. And suppressed our machine gunners. And again, I suspect he's going to try and attack our machine gunners this time. Doesn't make sense to suppress again, so I'm going to roll for an attack. And that's a miss. His last card is Fog of War. So we have basically just the machine gunners who are suppressed, so we're going to unsuppress them. I think this one is slipping out of our control, but it's going to take a long time for the US to get there. 1, 2. Initiative for the US is 7. Oh dear. I'll let them go first again. That was 2 fog of wars, platoon sergeant and a scout. And they have 2 fog of wars, a machine gunner and a rifleman. So the rifleman A is going to go first. And he's going to have a DRM to shoot +1. That makes 6. So he's attacking our rifleman on a 4+. So he kills rifleman A. We know he's coming out of there. And that was rifleman A. Machine gunner A. No unsuppressed riflemen. It is possible to attack my machine gunners on a, so he gets a dice roll modifier +3, so that's a 9, so it's suppression against our machine gunners, who are 4, 5, 6, 7, so our machine gunners are once again suppressed. 2 fog of war cards. It's just going back and forwards now. So I'm going to use the platoon sergeant to bolster, I think. I want to add a scout A, a scout B, and a rifleman A. And then scout A here. See if we've got a scout A in hand. Scout A can get to where I want him to go now. One go. So I'm going to take, let's have machine gunners B instead. And they're going, right. He's going there, he's going there, they're on there. And the scout is going to go scout, scout up to there. So that was those 3. US draws. 1, 2, 3, 4. We draw. 1, 2, 3, 4. And roll for initiative. So we've got 7 to beat. We can. No, we can't. So let's dump the fog of war. US turn. 2 riflemen, a platoon sergeant. We haven't had him for a while. Is it possible to use bolster to add a counter? I've not done bolster yet. So yes, dice roll modifier is -2. That's a 7. So he is going to command. So let's draw 2 more cards for the US. Another rifleman. So we've got 3 riflemen B and another fog of war. Their rifleman B is here. So can he control an objective tile? No. Can he move into an uncontrolled objective tile? He can. Come down to here. So that's a -3 on the dice roll modifier. So that's 1. So he's going to move. He's going to move down there with rifleman A, which is going to put pressure on our rifleman. Again, rifleman B. Can he move into an uncontrolled objective tile? He can. On a -3. You can't see that. It's a 3, which means a 0, which I'm going to take as a move. He's going to move there. And then rifleman B, he's going to control. Would he win if control? No, I don't think he's going to win. 3, 5. So the DRM is +6, so that's an 8. So he's going to attack. Okay. And he's going to attack the rifleman A first, I would imagine. because that's the easiest hit. It's on a 5, and that's a hit, so we lose Rifleman A. There's a Fog of War. Rifleman A, none in there in our hand. Are there any in the deck? Yes, there's the one that we just brought in. Is that all our Rifleman A gone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, our Rifleman A is effectively dead now. There are no more left in the game. So one more hit on this Rifleman and we're going to lose them. So what have we got? 2 squad leaders. Squad leader A. He should probably bolster, but there's only 1 scout. Rifleman B. I think we're going to have him move over to there. Oh, we can't because he's suppressed. He's going to become unsuppressed. Squad leader, let's inspire Rifleman B and move him to there. Next round, draw a hand for the US. 3, 4. And an initiative roll of 3. Might actually 1, 2, 3, 4. Get the option of going first this time. So I favour I was going to recon this Fog War out of our hand, but that means we have to discard a machine gunner and then still go second. So I'm afraid, reluctantly, I'm going to use the Fog of War for initiative. And what have we drawn here? A machine gunner and a squad leader and 2 Fog of War. So the machine gunner. Is there an unsuppressed enemy rifleman? There is down here. So the dice roll modifier is +3. That makes 5. So he's attacking our rifleman. So that's 2 dice on a 4, 5, 6. That's a firm hit. So our hand, we haven't got a Rifleman B in our hand. In our discard pile, yes. Good night, Herman Ziegler. So that was a machine gunner attacking our Rifleman. The squad leader, he cannot inspire the machine gunner, so he's going to bolster 2 scouts in, I expect. Why he would do that. Okay. Over to us, our 3 cards. Let's wake up the machine gunners. And then they can fire on Rifleman A, I think, are the threat with our second machine gunners. Are we going to suppress them? No, we need to shoot to kill. So 2 dice on a 4, 5. Both miss. And Scouts A, who are up here, are going. They can hunker down, which is to remove them from the deck, or they can fire. They can fire here on a 4, 5, 6. Attack them. Let's have him attack that rifleman on a 6. Right there. They hit the Rifleman A. Not in there. Let's take this sneaky opportunity to look through their deck. Oh, we didn't even note his name as he went. Robert Denton. Okay, that was our go. All 3 of our cards. 2, 3, 4. This one's definitely come down to a war of attrition, 2 to 3. So, if all the riflemen are removed from the game, Riflemen being the only people who can control, that means that the teams are pinned. Now, if both teams are pinned, then the draw is decided on the side with the most objective points at that time. So I'm just wondering if it's going to come down to that. So the US roll an 8 for initiative. What have we got? We're going to discard the Fog of War, keeping our hand. Platoon Sergeant and 3 Riflemen. That's not good for us. Platoon Sergeant. He will... No cards that there is a... Is it possible? Yes. So we have not bolstered yet. So the dice roll modifier is -2. So that's a 6. So he is bolstering. We've got 2 scouts and 2 riflemen left. So what's the order for bolstering? Take pile with the most cards left. Take the first cards from A, then B, then C. Pick the one that makes most sense. I think they've done all the scouting they need to do, so I think it makes sense to bolster in all the riflemen at this point. And then they've got 3 riflemen B to go. So rifleman B, can they, or do they win if they control? No. Not quite. But he's got a +6 dice roll modifier because he can control an objective tile. So that's 7. So of course he's going to attack. They have got 2 more. So he's going to attack Rifleman A here on a 5. That's a hit. I think that's all our Rifleman A. I think this is where we lose. Okay, so Rifleman A are removed from the game. So we're removing that counter because there are none in our hand, our discard, or our deck, or our supply. So Rifleman A are removed from the game, which means their Rifleman A is now free to control that space. Anyway, back to Rifleman B, whose go it is. He's clearly going to control that because there's no point in him moving. I mean, we'll roll for it. It's a +6, so yeah. So he's controlling that, so they now have 5 out of 6 required points. And then Rifleman B again, maybe he's going to move. Will he win if control? No. Can he control an objective tile? No. Can he move into an uncontrolled objective tile? Yes. So the DRM of -3 gives us 6. He's going to attack. Again, he's attack happy, this guy. So we have over here Rifleman on a 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got some machine gunners on a 6. So what's his priority? His priority is a rifleman on a 7. Is there someone whose total defense is 2 lower? No, not that. No, there isn't. So he's going to go for the rifleman, who he said is going to hit on a 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a hit. So he's hit Rifleman B as well, which he's not taking out of our hand, at least. But we have none in our deck. I think maybe I should have been doing more bolstering. I don't know. That was a very effective go for the US there. And what do we have? 2 scouts and a machine gunner. Scout B. Shoot to kill Rifleman A. On a 4, 5, 6. Machine gunner. Let's have Scout B shoot to kill on a 4, 5, 6 as well. Nope, they're going to miss. Machine gunners A. I still think we've got to shoot to attack. We've got to attack rather than suppress. Although we could If we suppress Rifleman A, then Rifleman B are just going to move in anyway. But if we kill Rifleman A, let's shoot to suppress Rifleman B on a 4-5 or greater. So there, we've suppressed Rifleman A. So the US have 4 cards and an initiative of 6. And we got scouts and squad leaders. Okay. We let them go first. There's a chance we're going to win, but actually squad leader A is useless because we've got no A's left to bolster. So let's play squad leader A and we take initiative for the first time in ages. Squad leader B, we can bolster in, I think, the 2 machine gunners, and then scout B is going to take a shot at Rifleman A on a 4-5-6, even though he's already suppressed. No, scouts are rubbish shots. US, maybe they can put us out of our misery. No, it doesn't look like it, not this turn. So the Rifleman, I assume they just by default unsuppress. Because he can't do anything else. Well, the machine gunners should be going before the Rifleman. I've been playing them out of order. I don't suppose it matters a great deal. And their machine gunner. I've been playing in the order they appeared in the sheet. So Rifleman before machine gunner. But actually, machine gunner should play before Rifleman. Anyway, I don't think it's made a lot of difference. Right, their machine gunner. They have an unsuppressed Rifleman on an objective tile, so they have a +3 target, +3 DRM. That makes 5, so they're attacking my Rifleman. That's a hit, and I think we said there aren't any in the decks, although did I? No. Okay. So he's removed from there. Manfred Fisher. 2 Fog of Wars. 2, 3, 4, and an initiative of 10. We're going to dump the Fog of War, leaving us with a handful of Royal Machine Gunners and 2 Scouts. Okay. Right, Machine Gunners first. They're going to be going on a +3 targeting our Rifleman, so that's suppressing our Rifleman B, and that's a hit. So our Rifleman B are suppressed. That's Machine Gunners. Rifleman B. Can they move into a target? So they're going to be aiming to move in. They've already got control. They move into an so -3. They're to move into this. So 6 minus 3 is 3, and that's a move. So Rifleman B are moving into there. They're taking their time. Squad leader. Now there's no one for him to bolster, so I assume he is going to inspire. No, there's no one for him to inspire, so he must bolster. bolster those 2 scouts in. So now the US have their entire deck either dead or in their deck. Oh no, there's a machine gun there. They haven't bolstered yet. What have we got? 2 scouts and a machine gunner. So we need to suppress both. I think, where are our scouts? A. Up here. Now we can move the scouts down to block this tile. So, 1 fog of war card in, so that's scouts. And then they can attack Rifleman A on a 4 or greater. So that's a hit. And there's Paul Miller removed. Machine gunners, we need to suppress. I think we've got most of Rifleman A out, so I'm going to aim to suppress Rifleman B at this point on a 4, 5 or greater. So there we go, we've suppressed Rifleman B. I think we're just delaying the inevitable here though. Scrappy. Lots of shuffling involved in this game. I think I would probably sleeve it if I was going to see a lot of play. Initiative for the US, 7. What do we have? Machine gun of each flavour and a platoon sergeant. I'm going to discard the fog of war. Right, they're machine gunners. Are going to have a +3 target the. Oh no, because he's not unsuppressed. Is it possible to attack? Machine gun. It is on a 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's back on attacking our machine gunners again. So that's a +3. That's 5. So he's attacking our machine gunners A, and that's a hit. So machine gunner A is removed from our hand. It's not their hand. They're playing machine gunners A, and we are moving machine gunners A from our hand. Machine gunners B are going to aim for exactly the same thing, I should imagine. So that's a DRM +3. So that's suppression on machine gunners. Machine gunners, target machine gunners, go for the weakest. Otherwise, A then B, I guess. Oh, that's 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's all misses. Then Rifleman A. Can you shoot at an enemy? Yes, with defense less than 5. So the dice roll modifier is 1 plus, so that's a 3. So he's going to move. I don't see any reason for him to move. I'm just going to have him attack the scouts and miss. And the squad leader will inspire the machine gunners. So that's a 7, 10. Nope. Yes, suppression on machine gunners. A, I guess. So that's them suppressed. What have we got left? Machine gunners B and a platoon sergeant. Let's bolster in the rest of our guys. And then machine gun. The machine gun to suppress rifleman A on a 4, 5 or more. So that's a couple of hits. So we've suppressed them, slowing the game down even further. US initiative is 7. Let's play the 7, even though it doesn't get us first. Scouts first. Been a while since we had scouts. No fog of war. Have we scouted enough objective tiles to win? Yes. So dice roll modifier is +2, and to conceal. Great. So we're just going to add another fog of war in there. So that was a scout. So we've got 2 riflemen, Rifleman A, Rifleman B, both of whom are just going to wake up. And then Rifleman A are going to be inspired by the squad leader, who are probably going to take an attack on the scouts right there. Well, that's what they're going to aim for. I'm not even going to bother rolling, I'm just going for it. Right, so they hit Scouts A. Carl Hoffman. We still have Scouts in the game. What do we have? Oh, machine gunners. So let's wake machine gunners A, and then machine gunners B. Suppress rifleman A. No, let's shoot to kill rifleman A, or we're never going to get out of this. So 5 or more. There's a hit on rifleman A. One right there. And then machine gunners B. Do the same again. Shoot to kill rifleman A. There's a hit. Have we got them all yet? No, there's another one. Richard Johnson. Initiative of 7. Discard the fog of war. What we're going to do with that. Right, is there a fog of war in the AI hand? Yes. Have we scouted enough objective tiles to win? Yes. So the dice roll modifier is +4. That makes 11, so they're going to conceal. Last fog of war added to our hand. No, it's a recon. Recon action. They're going to remove that fog of war from the game. That's with the scout. Machine gunners. Machine gunners. Unsuppressed enemy rifleman on an objective tile. No. Is it possible to attack an enemy? Yes. On a 4, 5, 6, 7, they can hit my machine gunners. So let's see what they're going to do. That's 4 + 3, 7. So that's suppression fire. And that's a hit on the 7. We've got a squad leader. We've got nothing to bolster, no one to inspire, so we're going to hunker down and put him back into the supply. Thins the deck out a little bit. The US initiative is an 8. And we've got all 6s. All scouts. Okay, well, which scouts are most useful? We'll get rid of Scout B. And the US are going first. They've got 3 riflemen and machine gunners, so they're going to machine gun. Presumably, got dice roll mod or a +3 to attack my unsuppressed machine gunners. So that's suppression fire, and that's a hit. So my machine gunners B are suppressed. And then rifleman B, I'm just going to roll to attack the scouts. It makes no sense for them to do anything else at all. So that's a hit on scouts A. My hand. Rifleman B again. 5, so that's a hit. More scouts A from our hand. And rifleman B for a 3rd time, miss. I'll go. We have scouts B left, who going to attack rifleman A on a 4, 5, 6 or more. It's a miss. Marvellous. US initiative of 7. We can't beat that at all, so let's discard the Fog of War. They've got 3 Fog of Wars and a machine gunner who is going to attack my machine gunners, I guess. 5, 8. 8 being suppression, but there's no point suppressing if they're already suppressed. So gunners A, that's a hit. Machine gunner A gone from my hand. Alexandra Bush. They're 3 Fog of War cards. We are left with machine gunner B, who wake up. That was our go. I just US initiative of 2. We can beat that, but do we want to at this point? I don't see much point. Oh dear. Platoon sergeant up first. He can bolster the machine gunners. The dice roll modifier is -2, so that's a 5. So he's just going to bolster the machine gunners. And then we've got 2 scout A's. Scouts. With no Fog of War. They have scouted enough objective tiles to win, so the dice roll modifier is +2, which gives them a conceal. Marvellous. Just what I wanted. My last Fog of War. They are scout. The second set of scouts. They're on a +2. So that's an attack. So the scouts are going to attack. Where are their scouts? Scouts A. They're still up there. They've done nothing. Scouts attack riflemen as a priority, and they're down here on a 4, 5, 6. So it's got to be those guys, I should imagine. There's no one going to be lower than that by 2 points, but that's a miss. And rifleman B are going to attack my scouts, and that's a miss as well. I guess I should be grateful that they're such bad shots. So, Rifleman B, wake up. Scouts B, take a shot at Rifleman A on a 6+. That's a hit. Okay, we've got all the Rifleman A, so that counter is off the board now. As soon as their discard pile is face up, we can see how many Rifleman B they've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've got all their Rifleman B. We haven't killed a single one. Right. 2, 3, 4. US initiative is 4. And what have we got? Some scouts and a rifleman. I'm going to let them go first. So the scouts are up first, and they do have a fog of war card. So it's case A with a dice roll modifier of +4. So that's going to be a recon, and remove that fog of war card from the hand. The machine gunners A are going to aim. Oh, we've got some riflemen down here on a 4, 5, 6. So that's a 8, which is suppression fire. And that's a hit. What fun. And then machine gunner B, I think he's going to aim at our machine gunners up here, I think. On a dice roll modifier, +3, so that's suppression fire on our machine gunners. And that's them. I just think at this point, I might just concede. It's just become a rather dull war of attrition of riflemen. I don't think we've got a rifleman B there. How many scouts have they got left? Oh no, that's their rifleman B and our scouts. So we know they've got 5 riflemen B left. They've got us pinned down, and we're nearly out of men. So I think in the interests of sanity, I'm going to concede that one. Probably should have done it some time ago. So you can see that Dylan's AI is fairly effective. It sort of more or less moves into the right areas and does the right things. Sometimes it does a little wobbly thing where it will move a rifleman out of a square. Maybe it just needs a note, but in the interests of brevity in the instructions, you might just want to say that it will do the most sensible thing. But then once you get to the point where you're making judgments for the AI, you might as well just be playing two-handed. The one advantage of playing the AI is that it will do things that you're not suspecting. Obviously, if I'm playing two-handed, unless I make a real effort for one hand to play different from another, then my play is going to be very similar on both sides. Whereas with the AI, you might get a slight bit of variance. For instance, as the US, I would not have scouted, I would not have aimed for this bridge as a major priority. For 6 points, I'd have gone for 2, 4, 6. and maybe one a lot earlier. I don't know. I just don't think this tile would be a priority for the US player just because it's got the highest victory points when there's 6 points practically set on your doorstep. But then what am I, you know, the AI won, beat me, mainly through just literally beating me down. But I think maybe there's, I mean, what Dylan's done there is very clever. It reminds me of the bot plays in the GMT coin games, but there's a lot more randomness in this. There's a lot more dice rolling, which the weighting then tries to lead down. And I wonder if it might be simpler if instead of having the weighted dice roll modifiers, if you just say, like the coin AI does, do this and then do this. You know, if you're going to weight on a plus, if you're going to apply a dice roll modifier of a +4 and then say you're attacking on a 5+, you might as well just say make an attack. That's not to take anything away from what Dylan's done. In some of the practice ones where I played, the AI seemed a lot punchier and the games were shorter. It's only because this one dragged out, and some of the 2-player games that I've played have dragged out this long as well. So there you go, 2 different ways of playing Undaunted Normandy, neither of which are official variants, but you know, it's a good way to play the game. If you've got the game and you can't get a 2-player game and you really fancy Undaunted Normandy, then absolutely play 2-handed or print out Dylan's 3-page PDF and go for it, because it's as entertaining. It's as playable as the 2-player game. It's not as entertaining. You don't get those. I mean, there's no moments where 2 real players are playing. There's that. It's a lot more exciting, but you know, you're playing the game. There's no doubt about it. There's nothing taken away from the game technically. What is taken away from the game is atmosphere, but you can argue that's always the way with solo games, and when you play solo games you're looking for something different, or something different from what you get in a multiplayer game. I hope you enjoyed watching me play and got some ideas for solo play on Undaunted, and if you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe on YouTube, like the video and subscribe to the channel, and go visit Boardgame Geek and give us some thumbs on the Boardgame Geek video. And you can, all those links are going to be in the description, along with a link to Dylan's solo mode on Boardgame Geek, and also my Twitter IDs. You can follow me at @OneManMeeple or at AndyBeta. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. I think the next one we're going to be doing is going to be a Kickstarter video for 18 holes, which is out on Kickstarter now, and hopefully just waiting to receive that, and we can get a video shot for that. So that will be interesting. Okay, see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.